Law enforcement had a suspect, a high-profile target tied to a major disappearance case, who had successfully evaded traditional tracking methods. They were cautious, stepping out of frame and leaving zero physical trail for detectives to follow. The defense presented what looked like a definitive shield, a casual, low-resolution selfie posted by an associate. They claimed this image proved the suspect was miles away at the exact time of the crime. Investigators immediately hit a wall. The EXIF data was wiped. There were no GPS coordinates and no attached timestamps. On top of that, the background behind the subject was completely obliterated by a heavy, stylistic camera blur. Traditional digital forensics usually stop right here. When investigations rely on explicit data like location tags or clear background signage, erasing those exact tracks makes a criminal look like a ghost. The suspect believed a computationally blurred photograph was a secure place to hide. They assumed that destroying the sharp details meant destroying the location data entirely. That assumption ignores the actual science of visual forensics. That heavy background blur, what photographers call bokeh, does not delete information. It traps it inside a complex mathematical web. By deliberately applying depth of field effects to obscure the room, the suspect inadvertently created a new, encoded layer of evidence, a layer they couldn't see, but investigators could read. Modern smartphone cameras rely on computational photography to actively interpret and manipulate depth. When you use a feature like portrait mode, the software's algorithms analyze the scene, map the edges of the subject in the foreground, and then artificially apply a blur to everything located behind them. During this process, out-of-focus light sources in the background are transformed. As the camera's focal depth shifts, a single sharp point of light expands outward into a wide, luminous circle, commonly known as a bokeh ball. These resulting circles are not random clusters of pixels. They are exact optical projections. They contain raw, unscrubbable geometric data that mirrors the precise physical shape of whatever emitted or reflected that light, like the rigid edges of a window frame. What looks like an abstract glowing smear to the human eye actually acts as a digital fingerprint, carrying the specific architectural blueprint of the room around it. Forensic analysts took the suspect's seemingly useless selfie and zoomed in. They bypassed the subject entirely to isolate specific, heavily distorted light artifacts buried deep inside that background blur. Using advanced visual analysis, they extracted the geometric data trapped inside those blur patches. They flattened the curved optical distortions to reveal the actual real-world patterns hidden underneath. This split-screen chart shows exactly what they uncovered. On the left is the mathematical pattern pulled directly from the blur. On the right, analysts matched it to a highly specific, asymmetrical marble vein pattern, a pattern that exists in the architectural records of exactly one high-end luxury hotel. By pulling physical blueprints out of abstract background pixels, the investigation instantly shifted. The dead-end digital file was now tethered to a physical crime scene. Finding the building was a massive step, but luxury hotels span hundreds of thousands of square feet. Investigators still needed to pinpoint exactly which floor and which specific hallway the photo was taken in. They found the answer by scanning the bokeh for secondary light bounces, eventually locating the subtle, warped reflections of the hotel's metal elevator doors. This allowed them to apply basic spatial geometry. By analyzing the exact angle and the distortion of those elevator reflections, analysts could calculate the specific height of the ceiling and the precise distance to the opposite wall. This spatial triangulation narrowed the massive hotel down to a single hallway. Law enforcement now had exact, actionable coordinates to target. The geometry extracted from the blur proved the photograph was taken at the luxury hotel. This directly contradicted the alibi location the defense had sworn by. However, the defense still argued about the time the photograph was taken. To break that final claim, analysts utilized one last technical trap: the ambient lighting frequency of the hotel lobby itself. This waveform chart illustrates how commercial lighting operates. LEDs do not emit a steady stream of light. They pulse rapidly. The camera's shutter speed inadvertently captured the specific invisible pulsing frequency of the hotel's LEDs, locking the photograph to an undeniable millisecond in time. The suspect's timeline collapsed completely. The ambient environment they were so confident they had erased from the photo was exactly what placed them at the scene of the crime. This case sets a rigorous new standard for modern criminal justice. With the rollout of AI-enhanced reconstruction tools slated for 2026, the painstaking geometric extraction that caught this fugitive will soon happen almost instantaneously. For anyone concerned about privacy, the lesson is highly practical. If you want to keep your location secure, you have to control your physical background. Stand against a flat, non-reflective wall, and do not rely on your camera software to hide your surroundings. Constructing a digital alibi now requires more than just softening the focus on a smartphone lens. Computational photography ensures that digital shadows remain measurable, specific, and impossible to truly scrub. Evidence that was once hidden in the blur is now exactly what brings the truth into focus.